for the win. Got it! Luke May!
How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.
We're back. It's time for another edition of the Carolina Insider Rapid Reactions edition. In fact, presented by Modelo after the Tar Heels top Syracuse 87-77 in the Smith Center for their fourth consecutive win. Jones Angell, Adam Lucas here with you. So, Adam, let's just get right down to it. 10-point win in conference, fourth in a row. Should feel really good. But I don't think Carolina feels great leaving this game. The Tar Heels led this game by 32 points with less than 10 minutes to play. It was 9:56 that Carolina led by 32 points. Syracuse, from that moment forward, outscored the Tar Heels 37-11. Got this game to a 6-point contest in the final minute. The Tar Heels did hit 4 free throws. Stevenson and Trimble hit 4 big free throws down the stretch to remove the drama. But Adam, and I'll talk to Coach Davis. Adam's going to talk to Luca Bogavatz, who was one of 4 Tar Heels in double figures. And I asked Coach Davis, my first question is kind of, where's the reality of this game? You're up by 32 or getting outscored by 26 at one point? I don't know. It's hard to find that reality coming out of this one.
Especially because a lot of the things you felt good about at the 30-minute mark then were a lot of the things that caused the problems over the next 10. Carolina was doing a good job taking care of the ball. They had really good shot selection. They were taking good shots. They were being judicious about the three-point shot and shooting it well when they did shoot it. And then those last 10 minutes, it was as though they were not aware the game was still happening, and Syracuse was very aware. And it's frustrating for a couple reasons. One, we've seen this before from this year's team. There have been a few other instances where they've had a larger lead in the second half, and then it's been a smaller final margin of victory, which is still a win, but it also matters in things like metrics and things that matter at this time of year. Margin of victory matters. Efficiency matters. And so you gave back some of those pluses that you could have had in those departments just because of those last 10 minutes and being unable to right the ship.
Yeah, baffling almost, the difference in this game in the first 30 minutes where the Tar Heels looked some of their best basketball. I thought in that first 10 minutes of the second half where Carolina took a 14-point lead and built it halftime lead and built it all the way out to that 32-point advantage. So, Adam, all of that certainly is in the background, but there was also plenty of good in this game for the Tar Heels to build what they did build, and that starts with that post duo that has been so good all season long. I mean, Caleb Wilson and Henry Vesar were both excellent. Let's just start with Vesar here. 17 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, a block. He had that game against Virginia that for him was a little subpar. Since then, holy cow, these last 2 games, he's been good.
Well, and we talked to Justin Jackson on the Carolina Insider this week about how Vesar's presence makes Caleb Wilson so much better, and I thought you saw some of that in this game because Syracuse just couldn't guard them both. Of course, when he's shooting outside like he did there and inside like there, it's tough to guard that guy. He also makes a lot of really savvy plays, like going to the offensive glass. He had a screen when Jaden Young was driving to the basket where he just kind of erased the defender in the middle of the lane. He's just a smart player in addition to being talented, and that's a tough combination to defend.
And he and Wilson have just been spectacular all year long. As good a duo as there is in college basketball this season. 22 points, 9 boards for Wilson today, and just again with some highlight plays for him.
Yeah, we're definitely at the point where 22 points and 9 rebounds just feels sort of average. They started out the game doing that with Vesar finding Caleb Wilson. They're so good at that combination of that high-low pass, and Vesar has such a nice touch on it. Caleb Wilson has told us he wants to work on the touch on his jumper like there.
That play, that effort on that play.
And to be able to get off the ground that fast on the second jump, which is something we've talked about with him. Caleb Wilson in the open court is always exciting, and more often than not, he converts it. I mean, he's been fun to watch. He was fun to watch in this game. You would have liked to have maybe seen some more plays like this in the final 10 minutes when the Tar Heels really needed it. You would have liked him to get some opportunities in Carolina to create some options where, look, if things are going bad, what is the thing Carolina needs to do? Everybody chill out and give it to Caleb and see what happens. And they weren't able to do that as much. You'd like to see that happen a little more, I think.
Just one more individual to talk about, Adam. And by the way, I'm going to talk to Coach Davis. Adam's going to talk to Luca Bogavatz. And we could talk about Luca here because he was very good in this game and particularly had a stretch in the second half where he had 8 straight points and some nice assists. But Adam, I want to focus on Jonathan Powell. First time that he's been in double figures in ACC play this year. And he shot well, and that always looks good. But I thought he just did a lot of things to help Carolina win. He ultimately fouled out, but thought he did a lot of things to help Carolina win.
Big part of those 29 Tar Heel bench points were Powell. And there have been games where he's looked like this. The challenge is going to be for him to be able to do this in consecutive games and then more than 2 games going forward so that you can depend on this every night off the bench. I do think the 5 fouls in 13 minutes is a little bit of a concern, but at least he's playing aggressively, and we know he's going to play with toughness, and when he knocks down shots like that one, he's an important part of the offense.
So those 3 that we talked about and Bogavatz all in double figures tonight for Carolina. Again, such a strange game. The Heels lead by 32 with under 10 minutes to go. It's all the way down to 6 with less than a minute to play. And they hold on for a 10-point win.
I think you would have liked to have seen someone on the court say something during that stretch. It went from 32 to 6, as Jones just said. Someone, and I think Seth Trimble's the most likely candidate, has got to get the guys around him and go, look, this isn't good enough. This is not good enough. Stop it. And so I think that's another thing that the coaches are going to point out. I mean, they could also say, we can help you from the sideline, but on the floor, someone's got to say something.
Well, Hubert Davis and Luca Bogavatz said something to us. I talked to Coach Davis. Adam talked to Luca. Let's let you hear and see those. We'll come back and put a bow on this one and look forward to Carolina Duke on Saturday. But first, our interviews with Hubert Davis and Luca Bogavatz. Carolina wins its 4th consecutive game. Final score 87-77 tonight in the Smith Center. I'm with Hubert Davis. Coach, your team led 72-40 with 9:56 to go. At that point, Syracuse outscored your team 37-11 to get within 6.
Yeah.
Kind of where in the middle of all that was the reality of this game in your mind?
Well, first of all, I told the team I'm really proud of them. Syracuse is a really good basketball team, loaded with talent. And for us, for most of the game, I thought we played really well. I thought, from a defensive standpoint, we kept getting better throughout the game, with the exception, it's interesting, for us all year, and it's something that we've got to get better at, we go through stretches where we go off track. And so I felt like we were good defensively in the first half, and then Syracuse ended the half scoring 7 of 9. Then we come out in the second half, and we're locked in on both ends of the floor. I felt like offensively we were moving the basketball, finding the open guy, sharing, dominating points in the paint, finding open threes, getting to the free throw line. And then, as you mentioned, at 9:32 left, we're up by 32, and we just a complete departure of what got the 32-point win. And it's something for us that we've got to get fixed now. I mean, it's just I can't explain it. The ability to go away from what's working, and they cut it to 6. And but again, I also told the team that winning is hard and winning is a blessing, and it should be celebrated. And I'm really proud of this team over the last 2.5, 3 weeks, how they've reacted and how they've responded. And I told them we have to celebrate this win because it was a really good win against a very good Syracuse team.
Did you feel like anything about their zone gave you problems, or did you just feel like you guys weren't executing the way you wanted?
No, we weren't executing. We were one of the things I always talk about is making the easy play. I don't think we were making the easy play. We always talk about shot selection. I don't think our shot selection was very good. And, when those things happen, that allows them to get out in transition. I thought defensively we weren't tight. And I felt like at 32-point lead, we felt like the game had already been won. And at this level and in this league, it's not over till it's over. And hopefully in a good way that this is a lesson to be learned, that we can't be in this situation and do this again.
Caleb Wilson, Henry Vasar did kind of their thing, as they always tend to do. 22-9 for Caleb, 17-11 for Henry. But really nice contributions from Luca and from Jonathan Powell off the bench. Felt like really important parts of this win.
Yeah, they were. I mean, Jonathan was huge for us. Just his ability to make shots. He's a really good defender, physical defender as well. Gets to the offensive glass, box out. He's a big physical guard, and then Luca has just been in a really nice rhythm, and letting the game come to him. And, those two guys were knocking down shots, moving the basketball, doing different things on both ends of the floor to complement Caleb and Henry, and it was nice to see.
Powell and Bogavatz go 8 of 11 from the floor and 4 of 5 from three-point range between the two of them. Coach, I guess what do you take away from this game? I mean, a 10-point win in league against a good team, that's supposed to feel good, but it seems more frustrating tonight.
Well, it was frustrating how we ended the game, but I'm not going to allow that frustration. We won, and we won by 10. And there's lessons to be learned, and we'll learn them in the film room. But there's also a lot to be celebrated, and I am really proud of them and very happy with getting this win and winning 4 games in a row.
Coach, last thing. Obviously, Duke's coming up on Saturday. They still play again tomorrow, but there's always so much around that game. How do you prepare? What is a relatively new group to the Carolina-Duke matchup? You have a handful of guys who've played in it, but how do you help those guys get ready for it?
Yeah, obviously it's a high-level game, and the way that Duke is playing, it's real. But we've played, at Kentucky, we've, played Michigan State and played at Virginia and Ohio State. And so, and everywhere we go, it's a big game. And so it won't be anything different. But we are excited about playing in front of our fans this weekend, and excited about the challenge of competing against Duke.
And a great crowd in the Smith Center tonight, especially considering some of that weather that North Carolina.
Thank you for coming. It really helped.
Tar Heels hold on, 87-77, the final, guys. That's Coach Davis here inside the Tar Heel locker room.
Alongside Luca Bogavatz after Carolina beat Syracuse by 10. A little bit shaky late, but really quality 30 minutes before that. Luca's got a box score in his hand. Luca, when you look at that, what stands out to you?
First of all, thank you for congrats. I think that we played a great game, 30 minutes. We slowed down last 10 minutes. We thought that we are so up, so we didn't have to play like, I think, 100% of our effort. I mean that I think that we give 100% for 30 minutes. So this is really positive. I think that we are on a good way to keep growing from game to game. So we just have to fight with this, I would say, gray zone of our game. So of both ends of the floor. So just keep fighting through that and keep building good habits.
Thinking about those first 30 minutes when the Tar Heels were up by 32 points at one point over Syracuse, what was going especially well during that stretch?
I think the transition game was really, really good also. We found really good looks inside for Caleb and for Henry. So from this standpoint, it'll help us to just get some easy points and get confidence.
Then in the last 10 minutes, what happened there to make things? I think it was 37-11 Syracuse. What were they doing that was causing so much problem?
I think that we didn't react well on their zone press. So this is something that we have to work on to be better, to don't panic when it's a double team, just be confident with the ball. So this is the things that maybe with experience, maybe with the games. So I think we will learn from this game for upcoming games.
Now let's talk about Luca a little bit. You've got 3 straight double-figure scoring games. You went through a stretch where things weren't going the way you wanted. What did you work on during that stretch to get to this point where it seems like you're feeling good offensively?
I mean, nothing changed for me, honestly. Like, I just trying to play the same way like I played since I started basketball. So just stay confident, practice as hard as I can, and there is no other way.
Does anything feel different with your shot, or are you getting different shots over these last few games?
No, I just get more comfortable with the guys, we are a new team basically. So with the games we'll just get better. Our chemistry on the court, know the good sides of each player. I think it will just help us for be better and better.
And maybe an underrated part of this stretch, you won a bet with Steven Ionata for him to have to shave off his mustache. Shortly after he shaved off the mustache, you've gone on a very hot scoring streak. What, first of all, did you not like about the mustache?
No, he just came to me honestly and he told me, if you score double digits, I'll remove that. I said, okay, man, I'm okay with that. So, and I think he's more handsome without a mustache for sure.
Do you think there's a direct correlation between the lack of mustache and the Luca offensive surge?
Maybe, maybe he motivates me for games to be better. So I don't know what can be next challenge. Maybe I will ask. Maybe he will come to me one day and say me something also. I don't know. I wait on him.
The next challenge for the Tar Heels is Duke coming up on Saturday at the Smith Center. What have you been told about what to expect on Saturday night at 6:30?
The biggest game of the season for sure. I think every player has a motivation or he has the goal just to play this game, to fight for 40 minutes and just trying to get a win, And I mean, I can say that for sure we will give 100% on Saturday, and we'll see if it's enough for winning the game. But for sure we will give our best, for sure.
And Luca's best tonight got him 10 points and got Carolina a 10-point win. Luca, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All adds up to an 87-77 Tar Heel win over Syracuse in the Smith Center. It is the fourth consecutive win for the Tar Heels after they went through that stretch of losing 3 of 4, including the back-to-back on the West Coast trip. So, Adam, before we get to Saturday, my last question to Coach Davis was like, what do you take away from this game? What do you think that Carolina takes away from this game?
I think the most hopeful scenario is it's the best case of you got to win, which is important in the standings, but you don't leave feeling good, and so everyone knows they have things to work on these next – there'll be 3 days of practice. Tuesday's an off day, practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday going into Duke. No one should walk out of that locker room saying, well, I was perfect. So everyone ought to be able to do something. That's the best case scenario of what I think you hope they take from it.
So that does lead us to Saturday quickly. Carolina and Duke, first of 2 meetings between those two teams. And it is college basketball now, so this is not necessarily unique. But there just aren't a lot of guys on the Carolina side that have been involved in this game. Seth Trimble is really the only Tar Heel that has played meaningful minutes in a game against Duke. And quite honestly, the Blue Devils don't have a ton. Isaiah Evans and Patrick Gungba and maybe a couple others, but not a ton. So you're getting a game, which we know is big game, big rivalry. Both teams are going to be ranked in the top 15, all the stuff we know. But a lot of people that haven't necessarily been in it before.
And we know it's going to feel different because we've been there. You don't necessarily know how Luca Bogavatz, for example, is when he walks in and 22,000 people are breathing heavy from the first moment the doors open. That's going to feel different than, for example, tonight. And so how they respond is going to be important. Carolina is capable of winning the game if they played the way they did in the first 30 minutes against Syracuse. If they play the way they did in the last 10 minutes, then we can come record this show at halftime because that's when the game will be over. So it's really up to them. Duke's very good.
And then you've seen a lot of really good freshmen this year, a lot of really good freshmen in the nation this year. Carolina's seen DeBonsa. They've seen Darren Peterson back when he was still playing full games. Obviously, get a chance to see Caleb Wilson every time they play. Cam Boozer is another terrific freshman. So another great matchup coming up as far as that is concerned on Saturday. I should have mentioned Caleb Foster as well. He's somebody who's played some key minutes for Duke in Carolina Duke games in the past. Okay, that game is at 6:30 on Saturday. We will indeed have a rapid reactions after that one. Maybe Adam will have calmed down by then. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, Carolina wins it 87-77 over Syracuse in the Smith Center. That'll do it for us. It's a rapid reactions edition of the Carolina Insider presented by Modelo.
Jordan, look at that!
May for the win. Got it! May!
How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.